Coach Helmer, recapping the season and starting off with cross country, a special season, especially on the men's side, winning that Big Ten championship. Your thoughts on that championship?
You know, it was one that obviously we've been pointing towards for a long time. But with the quality of cross-country teams in the Big Ten, it's a pretty difficult one to win, and I think probably the men's championship may be the most difficult to win. If you consider Wisconsin's won it for 14 years in a row, and nobody else has had that opportunity, then certainly that one meant a whole lot, particularly with a young group of guys who couldn't afford to make too many mistakes in order to be able to pull that off. I think the thing I enjoyed even more about that group was they found a way to get themselves, after that, qualified for the national championships, and then had an 8th place run at the national championships, again being the top Big Ten team at that meet. And so I think they kind of put an exclamation point on it and showed everybody that they were probably for real. On the women's side of it, while we still have work to do and certainly aren't at the level that we want to be, the fact that we were able to qualify into the national championships, were able to end up 26th in the national championships, I think it's something that a lot of people aspire to and never get to. We'll take it for now, but certainly what we want that to do is be something that opens the door for some more improvement and hopefully some top 10 finishes out of our women's team as we go forward.
Excellent. Then we head to indoor Big Tens, and you had two seniors, Kelsey Abbey and Kyla Buckley, win Big Ten championships. A great way for them to, perform in their senior season.
Winning Big Ten individual championships is difficult. The depth of the conference has gotten really, really good, pretty much across the board, and you want your seniors to perform in that manner. Certainly, your seniors that are capable of doing those kinds of things, and probably the more important or the more impressive thing on the women's side, Kelsey won, barely beating Sophie, who was second, and Sydney Clute was fourth, and so 23 points in one event. If we can do that a few times, then we're a pretty good team.
Your men's distance medley relay at the Alex Wilson Invitational breaks the school record, sets the 5th best collegiate time of all time. Mm-hmm. And then goes on to finish 3rd at the national meet. Pretty good group of guys there.
Yeah, and a bunch of rookies, at least rookies at that level. None of them had been in the national meet before. None of them had been prepared to do something like that before, and they didn't miss any opportunities to take advantage of what they had done to prepare for that. The meet at Alex Wilson, the race at Alex Wilson was outstanding, 9:27, and as you said, the 5th best time ever. 3 guys up front doing their job, and then Rory just did a great job of sitting with the group and was the best guy on the track that particular day. And then he did something, had a similar race for us at the national meet where he kind of had to run out of a hole. We didn't do near as good a job of putting him in the mix when he got the baton, but he ran out of the hole and ran himself all the way up through the pack to a 3rd place finish with the best anchor at the national championships. So kind of set himself up then to put a little target on his back and become the guy that we're going to look to help us to continue to do things at that level, because all those guys are back. And we would anticipate running a different group, because hopefully some of the guys on that team can now graduate to maybe focus some more on the individual events at the national championships. But certainly we've recruited in a manner that I think we've got people that are ready to step up and take their turn on that relay and keep us competitive there.
You talked about Rory, from finishing in the top 10 at Big Ten cross country, going on to indoor, and then outdoor, running close to running at 4 minutes in the mile, 1500, winning against professional runners at the American Track League meet, his Big Ten championship in the outdoor 1500 at Big Ten. So really a pretty, and then nationals, that All-American finish, really a pretty special season for him.
Yeah, a whole lot of growth in a short period of time. He came to us as a transfer from a university in Australia, and in the first year showed signs that maybe he had the opportunity to do some of those kind of things, but he really did a great job in his second year with us of pretty much maximizing his preparation and everything he was able to do. Very mature. As with great athletes, he had his downs along with his ups, but he became incredibly consistent at a very high level and carried it all the way through. And I think opened up the doors for some incredible things as we go forward.
At the outdoor Big Ten meet, some more seniors stepping up. Kyla, let's talk about Kyla. She, wins indoor and outdoor Big Ten champions in the shot put, sets the Big Ten championships record outdoors, and qualifies for 2 national meets for her last.
Yeah, the part of the negative is that the positive is she got really good in the Big Ten meet. The negative was she couldn't quite get it figured out at the national meet. Similar performances would have put her really in the mix, one of the best shot putters in the country. But one of the responsibilities that we have is to get ready to perform at the conference championships, and for her to win both in what's a pretty strong field, to have that kind of performance, a PR performance in that particular meet, I think says a whole lot about the way she competes and her confidence in that particular environment, and couldn't be more proud of her.
Robbie Neerman has a pair of silver medals at Big Tens, finishes second in the mile and then second in the steeplechase outdoors in 2 pretty good races.
Yeah, 2 completely different races. Indoors it was incredibly tactical, and he just stuck his nose in and hung in there and almost stole one in a tactical race. And then outdoors, a race that he finished second in the year before, in a field that included some pretty good steeplechasers, came back and got himself another runner-up finish. So and I think had he not banged a knee on a hurdle working out before the national meet, I think he probably would have was poised to have taken another big step forward. But that's the hazards of the event, because sometimes those things happen. Good cross-country season. Ran number 4 for us at the national meet. I think number 4 for us in the Big Ten meet. But probably was our most consistent distance runner indoors and outdoors. Just continued to grow and continued to grow. Was incredibly consistent, and is now poised to go ahead and take that next step that we need all of our distance runners to take, where he goes from being pretty good to being a player. And I think he's doing the work that's going to allow that to happen.